COE Toolkit is a solution offered by Microsoft out of the box for configuring governance, maintenance, app administration, resource handling, license handling, and various other tons of governance features to make sure the environment, tenant, and the apps are governed rightfully. It also includes security roles, configuration, DLP policies, removing orphan users, quite a lot of insights in terms of app insights, flow insights, number of API calls, premium connectors, and so on and so forth. The toolkit provides all of these features for you to configure, deploy it as a IT admin and get those insights in a Power App. I'm only going to show you four of those Power App that I configured using the premium connectors. As you can see, the solution components used in these apps are Power Platform Premium Connectors, Power BI, App Admin Connector, and App Market Connector. All the solution is available within the Microsoft website. You have to download those packages and configure based on your IT needs in terms of governance and administration. This is only going to be a sample set of what is available within the COE toolkit. Most of those other features are available as Power Automate Flow, backend scripts, and stuff like that. In here today, we will show you four of these apps that has been built, likely app management, admin cockpit, app governance, and center of excellence dashboard. Again, let me reiterate, what you're going to see is only a handful of the capabilities. The toolkit has much more larger capabilities that you would need as and when you start to nurture, build apps, and the ecosystem grows. You would need all of those features that's available in the toolkit. Wanted to show you a glimpse of these four apps built using the Power Apps Admin Connector and Power Apps Maker Connector. Let's get into the app and see how these functionalities are utilized within these apps. So here I'm on my Power App on a desktop version. And I'm going to go through each one of these apps and show you how it works. But before that, I want to make a point that we'll be exposing some of my environment details and then details to make this demo very relevant. However, these environment and instance would be sunset in a few weeks' time. It's pretty much for demo purpose. I oftentimes delete those environment and tenant IDs in a couple of weeks' time post my demo. So it is very tedious for me to mask those environment IDs, environment details, app IDs. I do understand these are confidential data, but I just want to make a note that this environment wouldn't exist in the next few days. Okay. So what we will do is we will click on app management, and it brings me to a form where it's connected to my environment. And you see there's quite a lot of details that an administrator can look through. Will come from top to bottom. As you can see, I can search for the app that's available. I can sort the app by app name from A to Z. I do have quite a lot of apps in there in the tenant. And by clicking on this, you could sort from Z to A or A to Z. And I could search for the app as well. For example, if I just type Coke, it's going to list all the app which has a name called Coca-Cola or Coke, if you will. Now we would delete this one. The next one is how many environments do I have? I mean, assume that I'm not a business user here. I'm a IT admin or a governance lead or a tenant admin who is looking at this one. It's definitely not for end business users. And it tells me, okay, there are 81 apps, and it lists me the list of environments that I have. In some cases, you would have like 15, 20, hundreds of environment. So this particular COE Toolkit app is very useful, and you get a lot of insights in terms of the environment detail, of course, who is the owner of the app, when it was created, when it was last modified, and stuff like that. Now, for example, if I click on this one, Coke, the data would change, and you could launch the app from here as well. It's like a cockpit, if you will, where I could see all the details of my app. As you can see, when I click on that, it opens that app, and I can quickly see, okay, what this app does. Right now, that's not part of the demo. The part of the demo is all about admin and governance. Okay, so this particular app gives you that functionality in terms of looking through various apps detail. And let's go back to our homepage. The next one is admin cockpit. So what admin cockpit does is it gives you uh, insights in terms of what is available within the dashboard. For example, I'm here on my tenant, and I have few environments, and some of the environment doesn't have any apps in it. So what we will do is we will click on the environment which has all those apps. As you can see, the 84 apps that I had. I do have premium connectors in there. I do have 46 flows in there as well. So in one dashboard view, you kind of get a lot of insights in terms of my app details and my environment detail, my connector details, my flow details as well. So if I could filter it by the app that's shared with others, and I could filter by the apps that was created in the last 7 days. And as you notice, as and when I click on each of these apps, most of these details keeps changing. And if I click on SAP Product Master Management app, you would see the list of connector that's used. Quite a lot of connectors have been used, definitely SAP OData as well. And these are my custom connectors that I do have. If I click on Salesforce, you definitely would see a Salesforce connector in there. And likewise, if I search for a Jira app, and you would say Jira connector has been used. So it gives you a classic 360-degree view of what's going on in my environment, what's going on in my tenant, what's going on with my apps, what's going on with my connectors and flows. And you get this in a UI dashboard. Now, the next part is number of Power Apps that's been used, accessed by users. So this gives you kind of an insight where some of those apps could be vastly used by a lot of people. Some of the apps could be untouched or never touched for months and months. So it gives you an idea whether you wanted to make the best performing app more reliable, scalable, and decide if you wanted to remake that app for better usage and more functionality. And then the opposite, where no one has used an app for months and months, you want to delete that. All right. So that report is available as well. And if I click on that dashboard, it gives you the tiles and charts in terms of apps created and used in the past 90 days. And you have these insights as well. So that kind of completes, one of the feature app that I wanted to share with you as part of the Center of Excellence Toolkit. The other one is app governance. And this is again part of the built-in template. All you need is Power Platform Admin Maker, Power Platform Admin Access with Premium Connector to get and pull all this data. Now in here, you pretty much get the similar view that you saw in the past app. However, we are configuring this as a templated storebook or a marketplace, if you will. And most of the customers would want to keep their app like in a marketplace. So you come here and then you click on this and you know which apps has been shared. And you can search, of course, you can search for the app, you can sort the app and stuff like that. So it's more of a gallery of apps. We call it as either marketplace or an app gallery where the users can come and search for the app. If they don't have access, they can request access to the admin and stuff like that. But that's only the start of the use cases here, because it has more other utilities that helps the administrator to manage the environment and apps. As you can see there here, there are a lot of app compliance details in here: orange, yellow, red, green, which you can configure as part of your IT security policies, DLP policies, which is nothing but data loss protection policies, or your corporate guidelines. If some users create an app which doesn't meet your standards, could be IT standard, it could be governance standard, it could be data standards, it could be security standards, it could be integration standards, and it could be commercial standards as well. You don't want someone to use a lot of data word storage, premium connectors as part of the commercials as well. So it kind of supports you all these various needs as a governance team you want to have in an app, in an environment, in a tenant, right? So the app is already providing you various insight, as you can see here: last created, app compliance, yellow, red, stuff like that. And you decide, what would this mean? An yellow for me could mean red for you, and likewise it could be green for someone. So you have the option to decide those compliance checklist. Now, what we would do here is, let's get into a app here, for example, quick QR, and see what you get in terms of app compliance. And again, these are all configurable, and it gives you the detail of the app name, what it does, last modified, when it was since last published, what is the form factor. Now, there's tons of details that I could go through. One of the thing is, you do publish the app often times, for example, once in a month, or once in a 2 weeks time, or once in 3 months, based on the usage, and to get more and robust performance. And if an app hasn't been published for a year or never been used for a year, you do want to send a notification to the email, sorry, to the user who created this app via email, and ask them, can we delete this? Right. So there are a lot of next best action that you can take. Now, I'm the only user here, but if you go to another app, or an app which has a lot of users, you could see those lists here as well. And due to confidentiality, I just don't want to show other apps where there are other users in this tenant. Now, I could republish the app right by clicking here, or I could launch an app, which we just saw, or I could email the app user, sending them a message, and then click on the send button. It gives a link to the app where the user can click on that. I can republish it, which I wouldn't do it now. And of course, if you want to launch it, you could launch that app as well. We close that one, and then we can go into the settings and republish as well. So this is one part of the insights that you get. Now, the most critical thing is this one on the right side. And if I'm a governance lead, or an IT lead, or a Power Platform tech lead, if you will, I want to establish certain IT governance principle before a user creates an app, or after they create an app and they want to publish it for use by other people. If it's a personal productivity app, that's a different one. You probably wouldn't have a lot of scrutiny and policies in place. But if it's going to be used by other users in the enterprise, you would want this governance in place. Now, all these things here on the right side are labels and columns which you could configure. It's only a sample reference for demo. Not necessarily it has to be the same way it's been configured here. You have an option to choose the priority, anything that you want. Probably 3 priorities is enough, probably 4, probably you need more. That's totally fine. It's all configurable. Now, for the demo purpose, we would quickly type in some of those details And that's when a user wants to publish this app into production for the use of other people, not just for personal productivity, but for the team, but for the business unit, could be for an organization, if you will. That's when they can fill this form. Once it's filled, the IT admin guys would have these details when they manage the app, so they can always open this app and see what the app is all about and what it is doing. Now, based on these criteria, is where you would want to declare the app compliance. Oh, that's not available. This form has been not been submitted. Attachments, so on and so forth. You can attach it here as well. So anything is possible, right? And it is very useful that you kind of take time to configure this stuff. Now, for example, we just go quickly and update some of those contents. I would say dependency premium connector, none, stakeholders, SCM team, which is supply chain management, access management, SCM group, current one. And this is very important. If it's marked critical, which means X number of users are going to use X as in many, and in business impact and revenue impact and user experience, customer experience, and customers experience, right? So for demo purpose, I'll just say it's a pilot. I'll say not applicable. Others, demo purpose. And you can attach a file if you want to. You click on attach file, it'll open your local system, and you can attach files that you want to. In this case, I'm not going to. And then you click on submit. So then what happens is the item is submitted successfully, as you can see here. And then that particular app, and this is the one that we just submitted, you would see those data listed in here. So this is very important feature, and more so for the admin and governance team to have this for managing their app and app users. And you do have links which goes to Microsoft public document about best practices and standards, which you can take a look. There's a white paper that we strongly suggest, the coding design principle and development principles, to download as well. And that kind of ends that particular feature of that app. The final one that we have is app governance, which is the app administration. And as you can see, I have four environments. A couple of them, or most of them, doesn't have anything in there. The one that has the app is on this environment, and we already saw these insights: app, who is the owner of the app, and app ID. Again, I want to reiterate, this environment would be deleted, so I'm not masking the app IDs here for the demo purpose, and it's really tough to mask those. Now, we would want to go into one of those apps. Let's pick, let's say, a former seed inventory, if you will. Now, this gives a different insight in terms of when this app was created and when it was modified in the description of the app. And it also is useful to give access to the user and make that user as the owner if you want to, rather than going into the Power Apps, manage Power Apps, share the app. You could use this particular app which uses Power Apps Maker connector. Now I'm here on this app, and Jeff Hay is in my environment as an user. I can make him as an owner. I wouldn't do that now. What I would do is I would go ahead and add some users here. Let's say I'll click Alan. Now, as you can see, it is taking from Azure Active Directory where all your users are available. So you could use this particular form to select those user. Or if you have a bunch of users, which is like 15, 20 people, you have a Outlook gal or a team, you could do that as well. You don't want to add every user individually. Now I select this user, then I have this role configured. One is view and edit. And of course, you could add more roles that you want to. For example, you could have various CRUD operations that you wanted to have as a custom role, and you have to manage those custom role as well. So for simplicity, I'm just giving you two roles here on this demo, but you have all the option to create more and more roles, hundreds of roles, if you will. And let's say I want Alan to be able to edit the app, and then I click on add user. Now what happens is Alan has been added here. As you can see, Alan has been added, and I can make him a owner, and my ownership would transfer from myself to Alan. Why this is important? It is important to have two owners for every assets that you have within Power Apps, or more than two. So if someone leaves a company or someone is on a long holiday break, or for whatever reasons, you don't want that app to be orphaned and people looking for help, but the app admin isn't available, right? So that could be one of the reasons. Now, before I change one of them as a owner, I want to show you some other features. One other thing is you can click on that and it goes into the app setting of that app. As you can see here, this is the app, and you can go to the app setting right from there. The other one is you could email users. As you can see, I have two users in here, Jeff and Alan at the background, and it automatically picks those users, and then I could type and send an email to those users as well. It's saying that, hey, you've been made a new admin, please manage this app. It could be anything that you want to. So that kind of covers pretty much everything in this app except for making one of these guys as an owner, which we will do right away. So once I make Alan as a owner, you would see Alan as an owner here, and it transfers my ownership to Alan. And if you want to make Jeff as an owner, you click on this, and you would see this role changing into owner right here. Now I'll just flip it back and make myself as the owner here. Now, if you have more users, you could add more users. And I just wanted to remove Jeff from this. So just want to keep it simple. And this is another functionality that you could pretty much utilize if you're a system admin or an IT admin or a Power Apps admin. And you can, of course, search for the app. And we saw this in the other apps related to Center of Excellence as well. And with that, we kind of come to the end of this demo on Center of Excellence Toolkit. And before I sign off, I just want to say this is only a part of what Center of Excellence can do. Center of Excellence can do quite a lot of stuff in terms of flow automation, flow ownership, API